Welcome back to Wow Drama Stories and thank you for joining me. Let's jump right in with story number 1. Opie writes, My paternal grandma who passed away made me a sweater that I love, but my mom hates it to the point where she forbids me from wearing it outside of the house. It's a brown, blue and white sweater that is uniquely designed and is something that not everyone would have the taste for. But every time I wear the sweater, I can almost feel the warmth of my grandma, and it also slightly smelt like her. When I came back home from a friend's house, I discovered that my sweater was missing. My mom said when I asked her about it that I must have just misplaced it. My mom is an active member of the church, and the church that we go to has an outreach program there where food, lightly used and new clothes, and other necessities are donated to people in need. Fast forward a week or so, I go to school and this girl who's known as the quiet kid was wearing my sweater in the cafeteria. So I naturally go up to her and confront her. I'll be honest, I am quite popular at my school and confronted her with 2 of my friends who are also pretty well liked at our school. So I likely did come off as intimidating, especially to someone who usually is very quiet and keeps to themselves. When I confronted her, I said that I liked her sweater and asked her where she got it, to which she mumbled something under her breath that I couldn't understand. So I asked again, and she said it was donated. I asked her where, and she reluctantly said the church. And I instantly knew then what my mother has done. I told her the sweater was mine, and that it was stolen from me, and that the right thing for her to do is return it to me. She didn't want to at first because it was chilly outside, but ended up complying after I offered to get her a new sweater by the end of the day, which I ended skipping class to do so and got her more than just a sweater. When I returned home, I returned wearing my sweater, which my mom was unhappy to see. She asked me how I got the sweater back, and I explained to her that I had seen somebody wearing it at school and asked them to return my sweater. She looked shocked and angry and told me that she couldn't believe that I was so obsessed with that hideous thing that I'd even take it from someone in need whom she donated it to. I told her that I can't believe she'd give away something that she sees as pure trash to somebody in need and still call it charity. She told me to shut up and called me ungrateful, to which I replied that she had no right to steal and donate my personal belongings. She said since I'm living under her roof, she can do whatever she wants to my belongings, and told me she would be reducing my allowance until I decide to part ways with the sweater. I don't know if I was being an a-hole in the situation, but will certainly give back the sweater even though it saddened me to see it go. Am I the a-hole? Update. Just a little update. Before I start the update, just a header, I'll be giving the girl I wronged an alias name because I now know her name and no longer feel right referring to her without one, so we'll call her Emma. I read all your comments and took to heart about how horribly I treated Emma by the way I approached her, and that my actions could set Emma up for future bullying or being shy to accept future help. I decided the right thing to do would be to apologize and ensure my actions don't affect Emma more than they already may have. After reading your comments, I decided to speak to my friends about how my actions caused humiliation upon Emma and to ask them to speak up for her if they hear anyone making rude comments about her. And I also spoke about me apologizing to Emma. And one of my friends told me they see her in the library often and that I'd be likely to catch her there, which I decided to check there before classes started and saw her there. I asked if I could speak to her, and she was a little hesitant but did agree, and I explained to her that I was wrong in the way I approached her and apologized for that, and also told her the story behind my sweater. She was extremely understanding and accepted my apology and even told me that she could relate because she also has a close relationship with her grandmother who often likes to make things for her. I invited her to sit with my friends and I at lunch, and she was a little surprised that I asked, but told me she'd love to. We had a great time at lunch, and I told her that she's always welcome to sit with us whenever she likes. Emma seems like a really nice person, especially because she forgave me after I embarrassed her like that. I hope I'll be able to make it up to her in the future, and that we become great friends. Well, OP, you definitely have a lot more compassion and maturity than your mother has. And it seems to me that in a roundabout way, your grandmother has led you to a new friend, possibly a friend for life, who knows. I am concerned, though, about your relationship with your mother, OP, because it sounds so toxic, quite frankly. Your grandmother made you that sweater out of love and you received it with love, but your mom is embarrassed about it because she doesn't think it looks good. Your mother was 100% in the wrong for giving that sweater away behind your back. She has no regard for how you feel and had absolutely no right to get upset with you for getting your sweater back. And then to take it even further and telling you that she is going to cut your allowance if you keep the sweater. Parents do have a lot to worry about with their children, but a child that treasures a sweater that was made for her by her grandmother, that's not one of the things to be worried about. It's more worrying that your mom thinks she can do whatever she wants with your belongings because you're under her roof. And OP, while you were a little bit harsh there with Emma approaching her and, confronting her like that in front of everyone, at least you changed that. You made things right. You apologized, you replaced the sweater. You did the right thing. But sadly, it seems like your mom is not going to do the right thing by you. You don't say how old you are, OP, but I hope you are getting close to the age where you no longer have to be under your mom's roof. Because that situation really, it just doesn't sound good. Well, on we go to story number 2. OP writes, so my significant other and I are expecting our first child this October. I was over for a visit with my oldest child from a previous relationship, as she likes to play with my significant other's nieces, who are around the same age. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law live together. Both were there. It was just my daughter and I there for a visit. Anyways, we get to talking about baby shower plans, nursery decorating, etc. While talking about a rocking chair I had my eye on, my sister-in-law mentions she wants, quote, to be there to feed the baby, especially at night. There's just something about feeding a newborn at night, unquote. That confused me. Who honestly enjoys feeding a newborn that much? She then realizes to ask if I'll be breastfeeding. Before I could answer, my mother-in-law blurts out, quote, we're going to have her overnight. We'll get to do that, unquote. Note, she's addressing my sister-in-law, not me. Quote, yes, I plan on breastfeeding, unquote. I told both of them, to which their faces showed immediate disappointment. My mother-in-law proceeds to tell me how she never could breastfeed her kids. She never produced. You get the picture. I mentioned how I had no problems producing my first time. She gave a little huff. She then suggested I pump and send my baby with bottles a couple of times a week so I can get my rest. Honestly, I was getting irritated. Quote, that's such a generous offer, but I had no troubles with firstborn child throughout the nights. After all, we chose to have a baby, so I'm fully prepared for the sleepless nights, unquote. I said it lightheartedly. I wasn't rude or short with them, despite their persistence. Apparently, she did not like that answer. Quote, well, how long until I get to have my granddaughter spend the night, unquote. I told them at least, until she's sleeping through the night. That was purely to pacify them. Why does my baby need to sleep anywhere but her home? The visit ended not long after. And turns out she called my significant other at work, leaving him a very displeased message. Thankfully, he's not blind to how unreasonable/unrealistic his mother can be, and agreed with me. He told her something along the lines of, quote, why would we want our freshly born baby not under our roof? That's why she has me, to help with those nighttime feedings, unquote. She tried arguing, but she knows better than to upset her son, as he's cut her off before. Honestly, I think she's insecure or jealous. He's going to have another new girl taking up her son's life. Her whole demeanor since finding out I'm pregnant screams fear of missing out. It's gotten worse since we found out we're expecting a girl. I actually adore his family. They've been kind to me. And this is the first time I felt they've tried directly to test one of my boundaries. And here's Opie's update. I'm still mad. This happened this morning. Not mad, mostly just like, who has this much effing audacity? So today we dropped stuff off at sister-in-law's yard sale. We're trying to declutter. My husband had the day off, so he was able to have a nice, at least it started out that way, visit. She mentions how she misses him, and he tells her he'll be able to come over more because his schedule's going to change. The following is the easiest for my pregnant brain to put into text. Sister-in-law, well, once the baby is born, significant other cuts her off. Yeah, we're never going to be over here. Mind you, he said that without an ounce of sarcasm. He was dead serious. Mother-in-law and sister-in-law proceed to give each other looks of what the F and disgust. Then, this woman says while looking at my sister-in-law, quote, we agreed after she's born we get her at least once a week overnight, unquote. My eyes widen, my face got hot. My husband looked so confused. Who did they agree with? God? My husband let out a chuckle, put his arm around me because I'm sure he could feel the raging heat radiating off of me, and said, you're all tripping. Cue the accusations of being unfair, how we're keeping the baby from them, how they need their bonding time. Sister-in-law adds how her girls were so excited to get to have the baby over. He said that's her fault, that she shouldn't have told them about plans they didn't bother asking us about. Mother-in-law asked when they're supposed to get their bonding time then. I'm not kidding. This woman is so self-centered. It saddens me. I came to absolutely adore his family. He says the only ones baby needs to bond with until further notice are, quote, me, my wife, and enter oldest child's name, unquote. Did I mention I love this man? I'm so blessed. That's when the mask fell, so to speak, and she straight up said, F you, to my husband's face. I loaded up my oldest into the car while he went toe-to-toe with his mother. His sister had the right mind to try and apologize, but he told her she needs to get her head out of her ass, and that both of them need to stop trying to stake a claim over a baby that's 1, not theirs, and 2, not even born yet. He also added if they don't apologize, they don't need to even meet the baby if they're going to keep acting like, quote, they're going to low-key traffic our baby, unquote. So yeah, as expected, we've got no contact until further notice. She's blown up my husband's phone, playing victim, claiming she only wanted to help, again claiming it was all for my benefit. His sister hasn't said much, just defending her mom and blaming her actions on being excited. Oh, OP, yes, your mother-in-law and sister-in-law have a lot of audacity. But, at least your husband sees it and he's standing by your side on this. That always makes a big difference when a couple can have that united front. They definitely were testing your boundaries and probably didn't expect you to say anything and to just go along with it. And when you didn't, they were probably hoping that your husband would tell you that you're in the wrong. And that is why your mother-in-law got so rude to your husband when he told her it's not going to happen. Anyway, OP, no contact for now is the best way to go about things. And they'll soon come around, I'm sure of that. And it's not to say that they're not going to try and push your boundaries again, but at least now they'll think twice before they do it because they know that these actions will have consequences. I thank you as always for joining me, and if you did like the stories, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, leave me a comment, and I'll see you again next time. Be good to yourself. Bye.